Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about what type of monsters we need to deal with in Dungeons & Dragons, and how there's a better path forward for Dungeons & Dragons, specifically to be implemented in the 2024 core rulebooks. So the 2024 core rulebooks are a very real attempt to make some significant changes to Dungeons & Dragons, to make the game better, to make the game more simple, to make the game more enjoyable. And I think it's a real effort, and it's a real opportunity, right? So I've been very blessed to be playing in an absolutely fantastic tabletop role-playing game. Be playing in a specific board game, which has really illuminated a better path for monsters in Dungeons & Dragons to me. So let's talk about it. So the board game is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. So I'm very fortunate. I would love to play I've always wanted to play. Renegade Games makes these fantastic, actually beautiful, licensed tabletop role-playing games, and I have not been able to play them, and the reason why is they cost hundreds of dollars. And so right now I'm playing in a board game group that is that is on a frequency playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Right, and it's really exciting because I'm getting to play this game that would cost hundreds of dollars to buy into, and I don't need to buy into it because there's somebody who's really passionate about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers intellectual property, and it has bought a really fantastic base for the game, and there's even more to buy, and there's a possibility they'll expand their collection, and when they do, it makes everybody at the table's experience better. It's really awesome, right? So I'm very fortunate to be included in this very luxurious board game group, right? And what's really interesting is when I was playing it, it uses Mighty Morphin Power Rangers monsters. So a regular Mighty Morphin Power Rangers monster is a putty. A putty is sent out by Rita Repulsa, and the reality is it has no ability to really damage in any lasting way a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. A Mighty Morphin Power Ranger does not need to be concerned with a putty. A single putty can never really damage in a lasting way. They might, put some damage on them, but, they'll be able to deal with it even in the board game with, some type of power. And so there's not going to be any lasting damage from a putty. A putty doesn't matter to a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, right? They can manage the problem. They can manage entire groups of putties, right? So the putty isn't really a threat to the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Now I want to start thinking about these monsters I'm labeling as non-player characters, as entities within Dungeons & Dragons, as NPCs, right? So you have that, right? And then think of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger as a player character, right? So next, let's talk about a super putty. So the game has these super putties. A super putty really can damage a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. So like this Thursday, I'm going to be playing Red Tommy from the Turbo series, right? And so I'll have a Mega Turbo Megazord, and I'll have the equipment of Red Tommy, right? And a super putty can damage me. They can actually put a wound on that matters, that can last on Tommy. A putty's never going to do that. A putty is not really a threat to Red Tommy, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, right? But a super putty is. They can actually damage Tommy, right? Next is a Psycho Ranger. A Psycho Ranger is, in a video game, you would call this a boss, right? Oh, here's a level boss, right? Here's the boss of this level. A Psycho Ranger can kill Tommy, right? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen quickly, but a Psycho Ranger can legit kill Red Tommy. They can kill a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, right? Then let's talk about Rita Repulsa. She's the last monster, right? And she is a mega boss, not a level boss, a boss of the entire game. So Rita Repulsa, she can send out putties, she can send out super putties, she can send out these Psycho Rangers, and she can send out varied groups of these different beings, right? And that's significant. That is significant. But get this, Rita Repulsa can kill every Mighty Morphin Power Ranger on the team. She can wipe out all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all 5, blue, red, black, yellow, green, right? She can kill pink, white, all of them, right? she can kill the entire group of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the board. And so I think we really need to start thinking about Dungeons and Dragons in not how much damage can a player character do and how much damage can a monster do. We need to think about monsters in that, okay, this monster is an annoyance. They're going to take a little bit of time, focus, and energy from the player characters, but they're not actually a threat. To, okay, this monster is a threat. They can wound a single player character. To this monster can kill a player character. To this monster can kill every player character. Wipe them out. Done. Right? And so, and if we look at monsters from this perspective, we really see that hit points are a huge problem, right? Like, it's really what we need to get rid of in Dungeons and Dragons, because it's just a sack of beans, and you're taking a number of beans out. And the reality is we need combat to be dynamic. We need the combat to have a distinct, a start, a middle, and an end, right? 3 sections, not a start, a middle, 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 2 hours later an end. We've got to fix this, right? And I think we fix this by managing, I think we definitely fix this by managing these monsters in a smarter way. And Renegade Games has figured it out, right? They have monsters that fight in a way that is meaningful, right? And you could say this monster doesn't matter. They're an annoyance. This monster matters. They can take real resources, real time, energy, and focus. Right? They can wound. Right? They can actually wound this creature. Right? And it's significant. Right? And the reality is, you reach a point where you say, okay, this is very significant, and and this monster can wound. This monster can kill the player character. This monster can kill all the player characters. And we need to give this deep thought, because I think this is the future of Dungeons and Dragons, is understanding monsters in groups and making them fit. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.